If you're a realtor and you want to leverage YouTube to generate endless free leads this year, this is going to be the strategy that you want to follow. I've helped create some of the most successful channels in the entire industry, and every single one of them follows this, but there's a lot of mistakes that you need to avoid, and I'm going to make sure by the end of this, you are in that best position to start to execute. Now, a couple things before getting started. The first is that I'm actually going to show you not only my entire workflow process, I'm going to share the screen of my computer and walk you through how to make your content efficient, streamlined, and not take a lot of time. But also at the very end, I'm going to actually walk you through a YouTube short strategy that nobody's talking about, that within a matter of minutes is actually going to help your channel explode, drive a ton more traffic to your long form videos, and help you generate a ton of leads without any extra effort. Now also, if you would like to know how to leverage ChatGPT and proven prompts in order to scale your YouTube channel and come up with endless free video ideas that are guaranteed to help you generate more leads, then just drop a comment below and say AI leads. I launched my free new training and it walks you through some insane strategies you will not find anywhere else. So without further ado, let's show you the process of how to leverage YouTube in order to generate endless free leads. What's up guys, my name is Mike Sherrard with eXp Realty, and YouTube is my passion. I've helped so many agents, even brand new agents, generate leads within the first 6 weeks, all the way up to agents in their first couple of years doing 5 million GCI. So this is the process that we want to talk about. Now with YouTube, it's really important to set a foundation before you start to record your content. So the first thing we want to do is we want to block. And that is talking about time blocking. If it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist. So you need to make sure that you find a time that is the slowest time of the week for you, the least disruptive, in order to consistently record your content. I recommend maybe midweek on a Wednesday. If you have to drop the kids off, maybe early afternoon, late morning, block 4 hours off, but make it a non-negotiable. And so what a lot of agents do wrong when it comes to YouTube is they treat it as a negotiable. A lender wants to meet with them, an agent wants to go for a coffee, and then they do not follow their time blocking. So yes, you need to put it in your calendar, but you also actually have to follow it. Now, the second thing that is really important before getting started is you want to study. And what I mean by this is that you need to be a student of the platform. Now, I got a question from somebody the other day in one of my masterminds that I run, and they said, well, Mike, I'm putting out YouTube content, but I'm not getting very good results. But I'm also not really watching YouTube. I don't watch YouTube. Is that a problem? Yes, that's a problem. And so my question back to this individual was, well, if you would like to get into the NFL, do you think you should watch football? Yes. If you'd like to get into NBA, should you watch basketball? Yes. And so if you want to succeed with YouTube, you have to be a student of the game and actually study good content. Now, I'm going to talk to you about the different types of content you should record once we get to the during section. But when we start looking at some of the channels you might want to emulate, if you look at market reports, we've got Adam Fife's channel. I'll link it below. If we want to look at community tours, you've got Peter Tooling. If you want to look at home tours, you've got Sim and Kim. And so you really want to make sure that you're not just studying others you admire, but also, most importantly, studying the landscape of your market. And this is so important. If I can advise anything, studying your competition when it comes to YouTube is essential, because you need to know what you're up against. And so what I recommend to do is 2 things before getting started. Number 1, look at some of the channels that I have linked in the description, as well as the pinned comment, so you can start to get an idea of what successful content looks like, so that you can make yours like that. Now, additionally, you want to search for real estate related terms on YouTube in your own market. So if you live in Denver, for example, search reasons to move to Denver. Pros and cons of living in Denver. Search from the consumer's perspective what they would be searching for in your market. And that's going to show you the competition, the other agents that are leveraging YouTube that you're up against. But once you start to see what you're up against, that's then going to allow you to say, hey, I need to make my thumbnails better, my videos better, my hooks better, my titles better. But you won't know what better looks like if you don't actually look at what's already being done. So I highly encourage you to take a couple of days, a few hours, and start to look and study what are other people in your market doing and what are other people across the industry that are doing in order to actually succeed. That is super important. Now, after you study, you want to identify. And what do I mean by identifying? Identify where you're going to record. You want to do one of two things. Number one, ideally, you want to find a place in your house, in your office, whatever is convenient in order to do your talking head videos. These can be relocation type videos. That is half of the type of content you're going to create. And so finding a place that's quiet, easy to set up, has decent lighting, looks presentable in the background. This could be your kitchen. If it looks nice and tidy, it could be your living room. It could be a home office, but identifying a space that you can easily record in. For me, for example, when I come in here, it's set up at all times to record. So it's very easy for me to just click record, get started, and now I don't have to waste a bunch of time getting set up. Now, the second type of content you want to create is going to be outdoors. This is going to be your community tours, neighborhood tours, and things of that nature. So you really want to have an idea of what you're going to be doing in terms of your different styles of content, which leads to the next thing that so many people ask about, which is equipment. And this is something that I really urge you to not get hung up on, is the equipment side of things. So many times people run into analysis paralysis where they say, well, do I need a camera? Can I use my iPhone? Do I need a big expensive mic? Do I need a crazy light? And they start wasting weeks and weeks and weeks doing analysis paralysis on camera equipment, lighting, and audio equipment. My recommendation, if you're just getting started, I'm just using a $50 lav mic right now with a Rode Wireless Go 2. Couple $100 to get the entire setup, but the lav mic that you can plug directly into your phone is $50. That's what I got started with. You can use your phone, you can use natural light, use whatever you need to get started as soon as possible. And then after you start closing deals, that's when you can reinvest into your business and spend a portion of your commission from the first deal you close on YouTube into a better camera, better lighting, better audio, but you don't need that to get started. Now, that being said, if you do want my recommendations when it comes to equipment, drop a comment below and just say video equipment, and I'll send you my list of equipment that I use personally under $500, $500 to $1,000, and over $1,000. All things that I've used over the last 6 years on my YouTube journey that I've tested myself and I loved. So if you want to have an idea of what you can get, feel free to drop a comment and I will send it to you. But it's really important to make sure that you're not getting caught up. Now, I'm going to talk to you about the types of content that you should put out before walking you through my workflow process when it comes to YouTube content. I will show you what I do now. I will show you what you could do today. So when we look at during, what do we want to look at here? Well, a couple things that are really important when it comes to getting started with YouTube content. The first is frequency. So how often should you be posting on your YouTube channel? I've helped hundreds of people actively start and build businesses with YouTube. And what I find is that the sweet spot is 2 videos per week. The difference in outcome and results when I look at the analytics of 2 videos per week versus 1 video per week is not a 2 times multiple. It's significantly higher. And so that leads me to one of the most important conversations is oftentimes people will come to me and say, Mike, if I get started and follow your blueprint, how long will it take for me to get a lead? And I will say that typically it can take 3 months. Sometimes it takes people a year. And what happens is they do 1 video a week for 3 months and then they complain that they don't have any leads. Well, the truth is the ones that are getting leads within the first 3 months are typically the ones doing 2 to 3 videos a week. If you want to get leads quicker, put out more content. The only caveat to that is making sure that the content is actually good. And if you want to see a full video of how I record content, then that's going to be the video that I will show you at the very, very, very end of this one. And I walk through for 40 minutes, exactly start to finish, how I record, edit, thumbnail, all of it. So stay tuned to the end and I'll show you how to get that. It is free, but it's just a video on my channel. But you want to do 2 videos per week. Now, when it comes to the categories, and this could be, or styles of content, this is so important. You have to be hyper local specific. One of the worst things that I see agents do is they start putting out content like how to buy a house, how to sell a house, how to get a mortgage, or, should you stage a house? All of these very generic video topics. And the problem with that is that if you put out generic video topics that are not hyper local market specific to your market, you're going up against people with millions of subscribers that are doing general content. You're never going to rank. So it is exceptionally important that you follow not only the categories I'm going to map out, but you make every single one of them hyper specific to your market. Let me explain. So the categories are going to be things like relocation, community tours, property tours, market updates, and local living. So let's look at relocation, for example. It's the lowest hanging fruit. It's like the expireds of YouTube, if you will. And when we look at this, you could have, for example, pros and cons, but you want it to be pros and cons of moving to Calgary. Cost of living, not the cost of living in North America or Canada or the States. Cost of living in Calgary. Every single video that you do has to be specific to your market. That might sound obvious, but let me tell you, I've seen hundreds of people, very smart agents, putting out content that are all super generic. So you have to make sure that is local specific. Now, before getting into my workflow, if you do want to see the exact videos that you should put out in your first year of recording your YouTube content, so you just don't even have to think about it, if you commented AI leads, my free training actually gives you a full PDF downloadable document, and that gives you your entire 12 months worth of content. Now, what's happening here is it's really important to focus on progress, not leads. Let me explain. Where a lot of agents go wrong is they're looking for leads in the beginning. But the truth is your content is going to suck in the beginning. Everybody's does. So what I want you to focus on is just getting better every single video. You might get some negative comments, who cares? You might not like how you look into it, who cares? You might not like how you sound, who cares? Done is better than perfect. Just get it up on your channel. And what I would like you to do and encourage you to do before I show you my workflow is every time you put out a video, rewatch your own video. Start to finish.
Yeah.
Write down a list of all of the things that you think you could have done better. The second part of that is I would like you to do a search for the same video topic in your market. So let's say you did the 5 reasons to move to Denver. Well, rewatch your video and write out a list of all the things you think you could have done better in your video. Then go to YouTube and type in reasons to move to Denver. Watch the top 3 currently ranking ones and write out a list of all of the things you like about their videos. I know that that requires a little bit of humility where you have to say, this is my competition and I'm writing out what I like about them, but that's okay. You have to do that. Get over it. They're ranking for a reason. You can learn from them, but it's really important to see what they're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and iterate every single video. Because what I'm gonna show you here shortly is what happens after you do your first 24 videos. So once you've done 24 videos, that's going to give you the analytics where we can start to focus on scaling. And I'm gonna show you on my screen how to actually look at the analytics to scale. But until you've done 24 videos and you've actually put effort into trying to improve those videos, don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about the leads. Don't worry about the views or the comments or the subscriptions or getting thousands of them. It does not matter. What matters is that you get better every single video. So now what I want to do is walk you through my content workflow so that you can actually get to the point where you're starting to record. And then if you're putting out videos and not seeing results, I'm going to show you what to do after you've taken action so that you can start to scale your channel. And then I'm going to break down that insane strategy when it comes to YouTube Shorts. Okay, so now that we've done the preparation work and we're getting ready to get started, the next thing that we need to do is to map out our content workflow. The name of the game is one with YouTube on the front end, which is all of the preparation work. I spend more time preparing my content than actually recording it. And that's why I can record so efficiently and batch 1 or 2 months worth of content in 1 or 2 days because of the fact that I've done all of the preparation work ahead of time. Now, I want to show you 2 different layers of this. People that have a team, assistants, graphic designers, video editors, people that maybe are a bit more experienced or have had the budget to invest into a team, and where I got started for people that don't have money to invest into a team and are just looking to get started today. So I'll show you both, starting with mine and then go into the free, easy version of what I did for my first 3 years. So now I'm at the point where I use Monday.com and I've got my entire team in here. So I've got my own dashboard here, and this is my backlog of video topics. So this is kind of what I call my vault. Anytime I come up with a video idea, I put it into here. And so I can keep track of everything, all the ideas I have from watching other people's content, getting inspiration, and just random things that I think about that I know will provide value to my audience. But in the content space, I have my entire team here. So if we look at this video, we've got long form, which is the full length YouTube video. Is it done? Yes. Short form, the guy's working on it, and then thumbnail, done. Due dates, good to go. And so what happens here is that now whenever I put one of my ideas and I go this video and I move it to, maybe the content board, it's going to come over here. It's going to automatically notify my team, my full-time team that works just for me, in order to get going. And they know exactly what to do. And so they're just going to get started on it, and it gets done on time every time. I have never really any revisions, and they absolutely crush it. And so you can work toward that space. And you can see here, the right person knows who has to do it, when it's due, and all of that good stuff. And I could just keep an eye on here, say, is it on track? Is it not? And I rarely come in here because I always get it done on time. But there's a place where you can get started. And so this is something where you can get started in what I did for my first 3 years of YouTube until I got to about 20,000 subscribers and reinvested into my business to hire a team. And so you can see here, very easy. If we move this out of the way, we have in progress and vault, same thing. And so with the vault, you can come in here and put video number 1 to however many. What category is your video in? Is it a relocation video? Is it a community tour, property tour, or market update? What is the title of the video? And then what are the bullet points that you're going to say in that video? Because in my vault, what I did not show you is that I've already got the bullet points mapped out for all of those videos. So when I sit down, I know exactly what I'm going to say in every single video. I don't script. I don't think scripting is authentic. I don't like it at all. But I know the bullet points that are going to keep me on track. And so you can map that out yourself here. And if you're struggling with bullet points, either Google it or use ChatGPT. There's no excuses of knowing not what to say in your videos, because at the end of the day, if you're calling yourself an industry expert, you should know exactly what to say. Because what I want you to think about is imagine your ideal client walked into your room, walked into your office, walked into your house, met you at a coffee shop, whatever, and said, hey, Mike, I'm looking to move to Denver, for example. What are 5 reasons that might sway me to move to Denver versus California, for example, maybe San Francisco? Well, you wouldn't pull up ChatGPT or a script and say, hey, 1 second, let me figure out why you should move here. You would know. You would speak to them authentically, right? Same with the pros and cons. So I really want you to not get overwhelmed, not get stressed, not overcomplicate this. Think about these are essentially responses to your ideal client, because that's who's going to be watching them. Now, you do have the luxury of leveraging something like ChatGPT in order to say, hey, I'm a residential real estate agent in Denver, Colorado. I am interested in creating a YouTube video about the cost of living in Denver in 2024. Can you please give me 5 bullet points that I should talk about? It takes seconds, so we have no excuses not to do it. And then when it gets to the point where you're saying, okay, I'm going to batch my content because I have put it in my calendar, it is a non-negotiable and it is a priority. Well, great. Let's come over here. Let's copy, these first 4, maybe 8, because you should be doing 2 videos a week. And for 1 month, that's 8 videos. Copy the next 8 and put them in here. Now you can put the deadline and say, okay, the deadline for this is May 1st, and put that deadline for all of these videos because you're going to batch them all. Have you recorded it? Well, once you've recorded this one, put yes. Once you've recorded this one, put yes. Have you edited it? Have you done the thumbnail? And this is as simple as it gets. That's the workflow that I did until I got 20,000 subscribers, and doing it all myself, editing, thumbnails, everything. And so, yes, you might see my content workflow and say, that looks incredible. I would love to do that. And yes, it is incredible. I spend literally 0 time managing this because my team is so amazing. But you need to work toward that point, because in the beginning, it's just about getting the reps in and staying consistent. Okay, so now let's go back and walk you through the next steps before we dive into the ninja strategies of what you need to do in order to scale once you've actually started the record. And I'm going to show you how you can guarantee that you scale in order to make sure that your content is constantly performing well and improving over time. All right, so now what we're going to do is dive into the analytics. And this is going to be what you need to do if you're putting out content, but your content is not performing. And I see this time and time again. People who put out 3 months of content, they're not generating leads, they're not getting the views, the engagement that they would like. So let me walk through what you can do strategically right now in order to improve your content going forward. So the first thing that I always recommend is getting vidIQ. And so when we look at vidIQ, it gives you all of your analytics, but what I really like is the keywords. And so a lot of people will say, well, Mike, I don't know what videos to record going forward. I've already done your video list, and now I'm stuck. And so oftentimes what I'll do is I'll come here and I'll look at view all keyword opportunities and say, okay, here's the top opportunities. Well, let's look at these. These are Google ads, digital marketing for realtors, Facebook ads, artificial intelligence. We can look at the fact that, you know, we could pick some of the ones that have medium to low competition. And that means that our channel is likely to stand out for that topic and probably rank in the top 3. And so this really gives me a lot of good insight. But the more important part with vidIQ is that it helps with the optimization. And so before we're diving into the analytics, this is where I start to get a lot of good ideas, is coming through here and looking at this video, for example. This video is doing very well because you can get AI title suggestions. Well, if you're struggling to come up with good titles in order to scale your channel, just leverage this. If you're, for example, you know, you want to create a description that's generated by the AI. If you want to create tags that are generated by AI, or even if you want to preview what your thumbnail looks like in the search results, you could start to do that as well. And so this is what I use for competition analysis, as well as a lot of data in order to prove how my channel is doing or how it's not. Now, my channel really started to explode once I started using the Boost program. And so this gives you channel audits. It gives you video ideas daily. It gives you different kind of generators in order to help make sure that your titles, your descriptions, your tags are on point. So I swear by this. If you would like to use this, instead of paying $50 for the first month, I have a trial for $1. So you can see how much of a massive difference it makes. I'll link this in the description. But this is what I've been using for multiple years, and I absolutely swear by it. So let's go into some of the tactical details you could use when it comes to the analytics of your channel. And so what I like to do is come over here, and if my channel's not performing well, I'll come to content, and then I'll come down here, and what I'll do is I'll look at the following. My top videos, and what I'll do is not over the last 28 days, I'll actually filter it by the last year. And I'll say, okay, let's look at these. Are there any commonalities across the ones that are performing the best? Well, if I look at mine, you've got Facebook ads, so social media tutorials. You've got collab videos with other real estate agents that have value that I don't bring to the table, but they can. And then you've got videos related to brokerages and kind of new agent decisions, if you will, as well as AI. So really, if you look at AI, collab videos, and then social media tutorials, those are the 3 buckets that I should probably be staying in. So guess what I'm probably going to do more of going forward? Those videos. Well, guess what videos I'll do less of? All of the other ones. And so if you start to have this converging, what happens if you do this on a monthly basis, every month you do more of what works, less of what doesn't, and over time you get to the point where you only do what works because you've looked at the data. Now, one of the other things that's really crucial is if we come over here, looking at hooks and intros. And so I do this on a frequent basis as well, is I will say above typical intros, the videos that hooked people who are still staying and watching after 30 seconds. Well, guess what I will do? I will watch these top performing intros, and then I will watch the ones that did not perform as well. And what I will do is I say, what did I say in both? Why did these people not like it? Why did these people like it? I'll do more intros like this, less intros like that. So you can start to see how literal this gets and how easy it can become, so that you could start to make a list of your top 10 performing videos and the top maybe 2 or 3 categories that those videos fell into, and just write out more ideas related to that, or even toss it into ChatGPT, like I will show you if you subscribe and check out my future videos, and it will just tell you more videos to do based on those. So let the data do the talking. And when you start understanding that what gets measured gets managed, that's when your content is going to do well. Now, 2 other things that are really important is looking at competition. And so if you come over here, you can look, for example, at your analytics, and you can look at your audience and look, for example, at channels your audience watches. Well, you will get access to this after you put out enough content. And what do I recommend doing? Probably going to the videos, filtering by most popular, and seeing what videos could you do that are similar, but put your own flavor on that you can make them better. But another thing that I think is really important is to find enjoyment in the process. And what I mean by that is, what I will do is I will actually come to YouTube and I will look at certain creators that I really like Ali Abdaal, or some of the other ones that I study. And what I'll do is I will watch their hooks and their intros and write down a list of what I like, what I don't. And that's a really good exercise as well. But the best thing that you could do is back to the competition. If you have other realtors that are putting out YouTube videos in your market, and let's say you're, moving to Ottawa, what we're going to come here, and what we would do is, let's say I have a channel and I'm, putting out content about moving to Ottawa. Well, what I would do is say, okay, I know Peter really well. Well, I don't know these 2 guys. Should we live here and moving to Canada? Well, what I'm probably going to do if my videos are underperforming theirs is I'm going to watch their videos and write out a list of the things that I genuinely, transparently, honestly like about their videos. What are they doing better than me? Is it their hooks? Is it their intros? Is it their thumbnails? Do I like their delivery? Do I like their style? Be honest. Even though it's your competition, you can still admire the work that they're doing, because clearly they're doing some things better than you because they're outranking you. So if that's the case, just be humble enough to say, hey, now I'm going to take some notes here about what I like about their videos. And then I'm going to take some notes about the things about my own videos that I could do better. And once you're honest with yourself, saying, well, now I'm going to introduce those things that I like and remove the things I don't like from my videos, guess what happens? Your videos get better. And so by looking at the data and using this kind of convergence theory of doing more of what works, less of what doesn't, that's going to start to put you in a position where your content is always improving every single month. And you'll get to the point where all of your videos are starting to actually do well. And now it's just continuing to do that over time. So now what I want to do is come back here in a second and talk about YouTube Shorts, because there's a couple things you could do related to AI to really capitalize on YouTube Shorts. But I also want to talk about that ninja strategy that nobody else is talking about right now. All right, so coming over to YouTube Shorts, let's talk about 2 different things here. There's going to be people that are really struggling to even just do long form content, let alone adding in short form on top of that. And then there's going to be people that are more familiar with recording content and can do both. Let me unpack both of those for you. And then I'll talk about that ninja strategy that you could do in order to drive a ton more traffic to your long form videos. And so if we come over here, we can look at our YouTube Shorts. And so if you're struggling to be consistent with content, my recommendation is to leverage Opus Clip, which I will link in the description. And so what happens here is whenever you create a long form video, let's say this video here, you're able to just take the link, paste it into here, and then click Get Free Clips. and it's going to give you 10 or 12 free clips that are all short form, pulled from that video, ranked with an optimization score based on the most engagement. And so that's a very easy way to stay consistent with short form content while staying consistent with long form content, literally with one click. It doesn't get any easier than that. That will then go back to my ninja strategy that I'm going to share in a second. For the people that are more consistent and more familiar with creating content, my recommendation with YouTube Shorts is to create unique content like I have here that is specifically made for the platform. Now, this video is specifically made. These videos are repurposed. Specifically made, repurposed, okay? And so I do a bit of both in order to stay as consistent as possible. Now, if you are creating unique content for short form, I recommend BigView, and I will link that in the description below as well. And what this does is it allows you to turn your phone into basically a teleprompter. And so instead of having to get other gadgets and tools and apps and stuff like that, you just usually use AI and it will just give you bullet points of your videos, and then suddenly you can look at the camera, look at your phone, deliver the perfect message, and then you're good to go. And guess what? As you can see here, it automatically edits it for you by the end in terms of putting the subtitles and the captions and all that good stuff, and you can post it to social media. And so when it comes to efficiency, BigView is the platform that I absolutely swear by. I love it. I've collaborated with them multiple times because I actually do use the product and I do love it. So if you're creating unique content, I do recommend BigView just because it's going to streamline the process and make it a heck of a lot easier. If you are just trying to stay consistent with one platform, I leverage Opus Clip. Now let's talk about that ninja strategy when it comes to YouTube Shorts for driving more traffic to your long form videos. So I talked about putting the link in here, getting all your free clips. Well, let's say that these first two here, or maybe these three here, let's say these three were all from the same video. Here's where the game is won when it comes to shorts. You can come to this video and let's look down here on the right-hand side, related video. And so if you took one long form video, posted in here, got all your clips, well, they're all related to the same long form video. So what we could do is we can come here and click related video. And let's say they were all related to this YouTube video here. Related. Okay. Well, now what happens is when somebody watches this video, you can see here, related. They can click that, and now it goes to the long form. And so you could do that with all of the short form content that is related to the repurposed version of the long form content. And now you're able to, within seconds, not only create all of your short form clips, but also use them to drive a ton more traffic to the original long form video. And that's how you start to create this circle of growth for your YouTube channel. So if you have any other questions, just drop a comment below because we do respond to 100% of the comments that we get on my YouTube channel. And if you do want to know a step-by-step tutorial of how to actually rank your videos #1, then feel free to check out the next video here because it shows you exactly how to do that. And the truth is, that's the same content that most people charge thousands of dollars for in their courses, and it's all free in that one video.